David?
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. After with the scrimmage and the game, when you look back on that, do you alter anything in what you want to do going forward this week, or are those strictly individual teaching moments where you work with the players? I mean, do you kind of assess where you are after there and change anything, or is it all just about individual players?
Well, I mean, you frankly always assess where you are, because I think it's just like anything. I mean, this is a process of training camp. You know, you're in a mode leading all the way up to the first preseason game, and this, just like today, you know, we treated today just no different than we treat a Monday after a Sunday game. Because I mean, it's the first time. You got to remember, it's the first time, you know, the rookies are going through this. You know, what's the evaluation process look like? You know, we're having the walkthrough that's going on right now. So, yeah. So I mean, every moment's a teaching moment. But the assessment of, you talking about who's playing moving forward, or how you?
Well, just based on where you are coming out of the first preseason game in that scrimmage. Do you emphasize something more this week than you would have otherwise? Or
I mean, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're in corrective mode. I mean, you're in that mode after every practice, but now you got live reps. You know, we had 80 plays on offense. I mean, it's that's incredible. That's a lot of video. 71 on defense. So, just like anything, you go through, we call it the Cowboys 6, all the fundamentals and all the techniques, the pros and the cons, and what we can build on. Obviously, the penalties was a big topic today in the correction period time together, and you go through those and show everybody exactly how they're broken down. The emphasis, moving forward, and in that, just like anything, you always tilt your practice structure and what you're getting done on a weekly basis to what you want to improve on. And frankly, I mean, that's what we're doing right now. But we start tomorrow. Our walkthrough and our work tomorrow morning will be getting ready for Charger week. I mean, we got a lot of work coming up with the Chargers. Wednesday, Thursday, 2 big practices, and then a game Saturday. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of in a post Sunday evaluation mode. I mean, it was the first time the coaches had to really go through, and we have a grading analysis that we're trying to improve on from last year, and we're always trying to be better as teachers. I'm trying to be better teacher, and but yeah, you're always emphasizing correcting and the tweaking your plan to move forward.
Clarence Hill, 4-Star Telegram. 2 things. Any injuries that came up after the game, and guys like Will Gray and Curse, are they cleared to come back and play?
I'm hopeful Will be back for Wednesday. I know he did a little more. He's making progress. That hasn't been determined yet. I don't see J-Ron participating this week. Tyron will. I see him going Wednesday.
Okay, one other thing. The scrimmage or the workouts with the Chargers, will it be situated the same as what you did with Denver, or will it be set up differently?
It'll be a little different. I mean, it's still situationally emphasized. As far as the rep distribution will be similar. I mean, we want to work the first group as much as we can Wednesday and Thursday.
Mike McCarthy, Dallas Morning News. Given the importance of building chemistry on your offensive line, are you reaching a point soon or even now where you want to decide who your starting left guard is to allow that unit to further gel?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, there's always a point in camp when this comes up, and but I think it's just like anything. I mean, Tyron has been getting the work in. You're looking for continuity, and you do have some flexibility will affect some personnel groups. So, without getting into specifics, so that's part of that. So, but yeah, we'll keep working. Our rotation will be similar to last week.
David Hellman, Fox Sports. Off of that, having watched back the tape of Tyler Smith, what did you think overall?
Well, I thought Tyler did a lot of really good things. It's just like anything in this game. I mean, you talk about being physical. You talk about playing. Have a play style. He's definitely, he brings that to the table. So, but it's just like anything. His mistakes were more, technical. The finish component of it. I think for young linemen, when your feet are beat, and how you react to that, that's part of it. So I would say just the second and third reaction components of technique will be a focus for him moving forward. But I think mentally was sound. I thought it was a lot of good snaps to learn from in his first time out there live.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How did your running backs look after watching the tape today?
I really liked the way the run backs played. I think really as a whole, we talked about it right after the game, but it held up in the evaluation. I thought the way we ran the ball and stopped the run was a target we were trying to hit, and I thought our two young running backs, because it's the first time we got to see them live, and I thought they both did some really, really good things. I think just like anything, your course work and really the tempo of accelerating the crease as the crease is opening, as opposed to waiting and seeing. So we could. Those are all things. Those are normal things you want to be better at when you get into it. But I thought Rico did some really good. First time he played in quite some time, so it was good to get him out there. And we had some broken tackles. We weren't 10 plus, but Turpin had a huge day on special teams as far as broken tackles. And I think really tackling as a whole, as a fundamental, we were plus double digits as far as missed tackles compared to broken tackles. Anytime you're double digits as a team, that's a good day. So I don't know if I've ever recall only having 2 missed tackles in the first preseason game. So, like I said, there's a lot of positive components of the game that we can build off of. But obviously, I think really the negative plays are the ones you learn the most from. Particularly, you use penalties as an example, or some of the minus techniques component, because I thought our players as a whole did a very good job of pushing the envelope as far as play style and getting that established, because you have to get that established in these preseason games, and with that you got to keep focused on the discipline of it.
NBC5 Dallas. Mike, these practices against the Chargers, last week against the Broncos, do you sense that kind of helps with the grind of camp, helping players? It's a new, fresh, not just practicing against someone else, but also picking up and going somewhere else. Do you sense that at all?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that's a variable. I know the players, it gets a point. You can see, you can almost put a clock to it. When you get up to the install number 6, 7, and 8, it starts to get edgy. In my history of install practices, 7 and 8 are a little different, because you got some auxiliaries in there. You got some, certain things that you don't do in a normal install. So, defense has got some exotics too. So the frustration gets a little higher. But to me, that's been like that my whole time in the league. So I think there's definitely, I think it's human nature. You've been practicing against a guy for 2 weeks. Really only 1 week in pads, but you've been practicing against a guy in 2 weeks. And, it's time to move on to another opponent. So I definitely do think it helps.
DallasCowboys.com. Can you talk about Sam Williams' game, and also what is the teaching moment or lesson you can talk to him about with that penalty? Is there something you can say? How do you
definitely. I thought Sam got up to a really good start. He's he's impactful. You can see his close, particularly, even on that play. And I think where Sam, just the fact that the action of, because he slightly ducked his head, and came, because he was on the rise. So. And that's a great teaching point right there. It's just there are indicators that officials are looking for. So whether you hit them helmet to helmet or not, but the fact that the helmet went down and then came up, So that's a really good illustration of how you take those moments, teach, and learn from it.
When you studied the operation on the missed 56-yard field goal, what did you see, and can you discuss the plan ahead at that kicker competition?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you had the issue on the, you had the double catcher on the hold, but the first off, I think we'll continue to go the way we did. I'd like to see both Laram and Brett compete, kick for kick. I think that's the fairest way to do it. I've done it by quarter and things like that in the past, but we do want to keep this as balanced as possible. We'll kick in practice on Thursday down there with the Chargers. They'll both get equal opportunities there, and then they're scheduled to get equal opportunities in the game Saturday.
Mike, what did you think of Ferguson's play in that game?
I love the way he played. I love his play style, and I thought he, just everything we thought he did. He, did some good things on special teams. So I thought he had a very solid night for his first time out. Same with Peyton too. I thought both young tight ends did some really nice things.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio. Josh Ball got extensive action. How did he look?
I thought Josh, I mean, the quality of work, is definitely things that he'll definitely grow from. I mean, you think about the players that he's had the chance to compete against Thursday and Saturday, has been great for him. It's exactly what he needs. I mean, he missed the whole year. I mean, it's really his, that was his first, start, or his first live game action as a Dallas Cowboy. So, and he'll be so much better from it. There's a lot there to learn from, but I think the fact that the number of reps, because he wasn't scheduled to take that many reps Thursday, and the fact that he got, I'll be honest, I was a little worried about his workload, practicing that much, but shoot, he didn't blink, and he'll definitely be better moving forward from it.
How closely you monitor workloads and snap counts? What's the challenge of, kind of seems like you have guys that are on different schedules with, guys that practice Thursday versus guys that played a lot on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it, and that's, it's just like anything. I mean, you're trying to, reduce the risk as best you can, and but more importantly, you have to make sure you're giving players the opportunity to be on the 53, and and also, I've always felt you just got you got to develop that whole roster. So, but yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, but our numbers have been so far so good, as far as injuries. So we haven't been stressed yet.
As far as Anthony Barr goes, you guys having a 2+1 against the Chargers, is this a week you try to at least get him in maybe one of those scrimmages?
Yeah.
Full go before Seattle?
Yeah, definitely. I see Anthony. We're going to try to work him in this week. Exactly how the reps will sort out, but we're definitely moving towards that. So my hope is to at least get him on the field for individual on Wednesday.
There are two cornerbacks. Can you talk about their play from the game?
Which one?
Just to start, the two second-year guys.
You don't know their names or what? Help him out, David, please. I mean,
Right.
huh?
Right.
And Joe,
Second-year guys. All right. So no, I thought Nashawn. I thought he had some real competitive situations. I think clearly, you look at someone that's made the second-year jump. He's definitely in my mind in that category. You look what he's done physically. He had obviously the two. They were good throws, two competitive throws, and I think he'll definitely. It's another great example of learning from the techniques. With his length and so forth, going up and not under there is as far as tracking the ball, because Nashawn has excellent ball skills. I mean, you can see that. I mean, that was something that I know I was very, very excited about. Watching the Oregon State tape, that former receiver, you can see him go up and high point the ball. So I think those are two plays you'll look for him to learn from, because he does play with instinct and so forth. But you do have to give the other side some credit. They're good throws and catches. So it's physicality, hand placement, all those things. I mean, he plays on the edge, so he plays the right way. He's just got to clean that up. Kelvin, I thought was solid. He's has tremendous ability. But I think it was more of a first game for him, both on defense and special teams.
Bohanna seemed to be pretty active on Saturday.
Yeah.
What did you make of his performance, and more broadly about what you've seen from him in camp thus far?
I really like the way Q played Saturday night. Quinton, I think clearly the step that he made, a couple steps, frankly. I mean, I thought the way he attacked the double teams was as good as I've seen him do it. And then I think you're seeing a guy that's really starting to make a move in the area of pass rush, because and not just the transition pass rush on first and second down. So I thought Q definitely took a big step against Denver.
Has his pad height gotten better, and how difficult is it for a guy?
I'm sorry, Michael. What was the first
Has
part?
his pad height improved in his second year, and how difficult is it for a guy his size to create leverage in that respect?
I think all linemen go through that, particularly if you're inside or outside, get moved inside. I think that's a natural progression for linemen, just the ability to play with bend. And Quinton's very athletic, and that's something that you can see in Kentucky. I mean, hell, if you ever see him on a basketball court, he can really move and bend. So just the fact that he's playing, with more consistency with his pad level, I think that's definitely part of his improvement.
Like in your experience, how much for the young guys practices against the Chargers, the preseason games, does it click for some guys right away? Is that an indicator of what you can expect from them later in the season? How much does it matter?
Oh no, it definitely matters. Just going back to what I talked about earlier. I mean, we had Thursday had 80 plays, and then had another 80 on offense Saturday night. 71 on defense, but that's 180 plays of pretty. I know Thursday wasn't live, but it's about as close as you can get to it. So, that's 160 snaps in week one of the preseason. I've never seen young players get that many opportunities. So there's definitely a lot of value in that.
Ball and Collins got a lot of work. How would you assess how they?
I really like what they gave us because the volume the volume of opportunities that they had. But yeah, definitely. I mean, there's going to be fundamentals and techniques, and because let's be honest, either one of those guys have played this much, in the NFL. So it's a great opportunity for both those guys, and they got excellent tape to learn from.
Kyle Yeomans, DallasCowboys.com. How much did Terence Steele kind of grow last week with the opportunities that he had?
Terence Steele, I tell you, I mean, you just got to be so impressed with Terence. Just what he does. Coming off the off season. I mean, two years in a row, he's had a tremendous off season. You can see the improvement, in the weight room, and his play style and his toughness. I think Terence is someone that has a chance to be an anchor over there at the right tackle for us for a long time.
Mike, Rob Phillips, DallasCowboys.com. Back on the kickers real quick. You had a 4th and short in the first half that you went for. How much consideration was it going for a kick there, settling for a field goal, and how do you balance that evaluation with other situations you want to work in the game?
Yeah, definitely. I think the ebb and flow of the game, trying to give the offense an opportunity there was part of it. I mean, I wasn't sitting there playing the 35-yard line as the as the field goal range. Actually, it was deeper than that. Being up in Denver, I think it was 40 going south and 45 going south, 45 south, 40 north. If I recall exactly with that. So yeah, that was not a reflection of the field goal guys. It was more about giving the offense the chance to just continue to drive.
Finish with David. Mike, you mentioned earlier about only 2 missed tackles in that game defensively.
Yeah.
Is that just an extension of what you've seen the defense do out here since camp started?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, tackling is one of the 3 primary fundamentals. I mean, we obviously work it every day, and your footwork and your approach are so important to it. So when you watch the tracking drills, that's why we start with team fundamental every day, and we're always highlighting. We call it the Cowboys 6, as we've talked about here, time and time again. So I think it's exciting when you see carryover from the practice field to the game field. But I think it's just a credit to our players and how they work the drills, and because at the end of the day, that was really the first live tackling opportunity they had. So, because up until that point, it was just more footwork, approach, long stride, short stride, all those little coaching details that go into tackling. And as far as the approach and then the strike and the wrap, and I thought the guys did a nice job, especially for the first time. First time as a football team. Excuse me, the special teams is in that too. So, yeah.